利用セレクトセクション1から21のオーバーラッピングを開始します。
Make a reservation at least a week in advance. It doesn't make sense to turn down such a good offer. I don't trust any candidate. To begin with, they always make promises they don't keep. He made a false statement during the trial. Make sure that your essay has a solid, logical structure. The more experience you have, the wiser decisions you will make. Some scientists are making use of artificial intelligence to predict earthquakes. Unless you make every effort, you'll be left behind. The company has made deliberate attempts to deceive consumers. They made their way on foot through the valley. Making money is not an end in itself, but just a means to an end. Section 2. I'll pick you up on the way.
No thanks. I'll take a taxi by myself.
Can I speak to Jane?
She's on another line right now. Can I take a message? As far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to take any risk. Take advantage of this rare opportunity. When she nodded, he took her by the hand and led her to the shore. Don't take these pills on an empty stomach.
I have a sore throat and a bad cough.
Take your temperature. It's about time you decided what career path to take. It takes time to acquire skills and knowledge in all aspects of advertising. Take your time and deal with the problems one by one. Take it easy. It's no use arguing about it.
Section 3. We were amazed that the device was tiny but smart. Although Bob is frightened of insects, he studies biology. No wonder the audience was bored to death. The topic was boring. Now that you've gotten married, respect each other. I got lost. To make matters worse, my car broke down. I'm excited about getting together.
So am I.
The negotiations have failed, so the tension will get worse. Our hostility toward him grew more and more intense. There was a myth that Japanese financial institutions would not go bankrupt. The reality is somewhat different from what the media describe. What counts is not always visible. Have you made up your mind about what to do with the rest of the stuff? Section 4.
Pick some at random, then put them in correct order. When his biography was released, I stood in line for hours to get it. I'm anxious to hear from you. I miss you. By the way, what do you do?
I run a grocery store. She leaned forward and whispered to me,
I'll come with you. I can't stand this mess anymore. Keep in mind that theories don't necessarily work in practice. The other day, they hired Joe, and today they fired him. We take turns doing the dishes. This week, it's my turn. I envy Tom because he is good at making friends. After shaking hands and exchanging greetings, they got down to business.
Section 5. Grown-ups should encourage children to reach their potential. At last, we persuaded him to give up. Please remember to let me know your departure date. Don't forget to reply to the invitation.
I won't.
We expected him to participate in the debate. He admitted breaking into the house, but denied committing murder. Many immigrants have difficulty obtaining legal status. They are busy making arrangements for the conference. He spent his whole life observing wildlife. He stayed up late preparing for the trip. Section 6.
The president could not bring about a solution to the economic crisis. Many historic discoveries come about by accident. I'm proud of my profession, which is rewarding and brings out the best in me. Japan has a huge national debt of more than $7 trillion. So far, 521,325 signatures have been collected. He claims that 2/3 of the property belongs to him. This stream isn't shallow, it's 5 feet deep. This package weighs 2 pounds, more or less. The Earth is approximately twice as large as Mars. I came across an article about my favorite novel and tore it out. Can you pick out some items that will go with these pants?
Section 7. He fainted and was barely breathing. He advised her not to make any comment to the press for the time being. At present, there is not sufficient evidence to prove that he is guilty. If exports exceed imports, the trade balance will be a surplus. I don't think Japan needs to increase its defense budget. The organization is suspected of supplying weapons to the rebels. This new method will no doubt replace conventional technology. To be honest, I'm not getting along with my neighbors. He majored in educational psychology. It's tough to convince people who resist change. Section 8.
Tom is extremely talented, but many consider him to be slightly odd. Modesty is regarded as a virtue. Japan must get rid of the regulations that restrict innovation. Try this liquid to remove stains from the surface. Nick set up an investment firm after he graduated from college. A committee was established to investigate the incident. He warned us that something horrible was about to happen. Tom passed away, and his funeral will take place tomorrow. I tried to contact her directly, but I couldn't get through. How can I get in touch with you when you're away on business? In fact, she has suffered physical abuse from her husband. I felt sympathy for Bob because I had gone through something similar once.
Section 9. Japan is recovering from the recession at a steady rate. He still can't get over his depression since he broke up with Jane. A bomb exploded in the Parliament building. Fortunately, no one was injured. The ship blew up and sank to the bottom of the ocean. The stock market is not stable and might well collapse at any moment. All of a sudden, the ceiling gave way. The foreign minister intends to hand in his resignation sooner or later. Before you turn in your assignment, go over it again. Protecting our planet calls for international cooperation. This task requires a great deal of caution. Relax. Chances are you'll be selected for the final interview. Make yourself at home and help yourself to some snacks. Section 10.
Delivery was not made on time because of the severe weather. All flights were delayed due to fog. Give them specific instructions so as not to confuse them. They need to compromise in order to put an end to the dispute. In spite of numerous obstacles, he achieved his ambition. Despite threats, he stood up for justice and liberty. From time to time, Tom entertains his clients at fancy restaurants. Every now and then, I look back on my childhood. He didn't obey the command because it was against his principles. A survey indicates most people are in favor of the proposal. A lot of people are opposed to the current welfare system. In short, his political view is the opposite of ours.
Section 11. Mind if I borrow your encyclopedia? I need to look something up.
Not at all. Go ahead.
According to rough calculations, it will cost you less to own a house than to rent it. I'll lend it to you as long as you take care of it. He got into his Porsche and headed for the border. My uncle twisted his ankle when he got off the bus in a hurry. There are few vacancies not only in permanent but also in temporary positions. We used to look down on Bob, but now we look up to him. The military official appeared in court as a witness. The day before yesterday, Tom disappeared without a trace. The disease may cause symptoms such as fever and a dull headache. We will give you a discount if you purchase in quantity. The host is impatient because the guest of honor hasn't shown up yet. They are working behind the scenes to avoid unnecessary conflicts. Section 12.
Everyone will object if such an ugly object is put up here. The building is laid out so that it won't ruin the landscape. He lay down on his side with his knees bent. Everybody accused me of telling a lie, but I swear I didn't. The wages are not likely to rise, so I might as well quit right away. We won't allow the government to raise taxes any further. Controversy arose over the origin of the solar system.
はい、これでは今日のデュオのオーバーラッピングを終了します。